Hello, I'm taking you outside of my office today to just do a couple of videos out in the wilderness because I like a change of scenery, so here we are. Have you ever wanted to be more spiritual, but you just felt like that you're not exactly the kind of Buddha in this world or Mother Teresa? Neither am I, bro. Like, look at me. I'm currently in knitwear, jeans, and Timberlands, and I say fuck a lot. So I'm not Buddha. However, I do use a lot of spiritual practices a lot of the time. A lot of the time I do one every day or one at least once a week. And today I wanted to share with you my top 7 favorite spiritual practices that I have embodied throughout my life once I actually understood what spirituality is and realized that it's not some kind of religion and something that I have to be extremely strict on myself. So my definition of a spiritual practice, and I wrote it down to remind myself, was a spiritual practice to me is going within yourself rather than seeking something outside of you. That's what I love so much about spirituality, is that spirituality to me is something that is already within us, therefore we can tap into it at any time that we need to, rather than feeling like we need to depend on something else in order to feel a certain way. So everything that I'm about to tell you is something that you can create within yourself, so you don't actually need to hold on to something that's outside of you, because within today's society so much is taught where we have to go outside of us to find our happiness or our peace or whatever the case may be. And everything that I'm about to tell you is something that you can do without needing to depend on anything in materialistic wise or anyone. So number one, God, I have a funny thumb. Number 1 is meditation, and I know that so many people are going to be like, oh, of course it's meditation, because meditation this and meditation that, mindful this and mindful that. So many people talk about meditation, but so many people underestimate the potential meditation has. And I look at it as one of those things, as meditation is like going to the gym for your brain. With going to the gym every day, you don't see the results straight away, but in the long term you look back and you're just like, oh my god, I can see the difference. I'm a lot more calmer, I feel really good within myself, I'm a lot more focused, etc, etc. It's the same with going to the gym. You see the results after a month or so. So meditation is something that you can do every single day, and you don't have to sit there closed eyes, legs crossed, doing your freaking symbols and, you know, vibrating the sound of the whole way through. It's not about that. Meditation is allowing your mind to either be silent or allowing the thoughts to flow through you rather than trying to block them. It's giving your brain that space to just do whatever the fuck it wants, rather than you continuously and consciously fighting it every single moment, because we have like over 50,000 thoughts within a day. It's fucking crazy. Like right now I've already had different thoughts than talking. There's someone that walked past before, I heard a noise, like all these thoughts were going through my head, but I'm still talking, and that's normal. It is so common these days to have a bazillion thoughts. You've probably thought like, oh my god, she's already boring me, she talks really fast, maybe she should wear some makeup, I don't know. You've probably been thinking a million different things. Where's her cup of coffee? Guess what? It's right here. But anyway, so that's like, you know, there's all these different thoughts that you may have been going through your head while having this conversation, and meditation is one of those places that just allows your brain to have a moment to just not have to fight you. Have you ever noticed that your best thoughts, your best focus points, your best creative ideas are in moments where your brain is just focusing and just doing whatever the fuck it wants, because it can't go and focus on too many things, like driving in a car. Just before you go to sleep, when you're just about to settle down, you have all these ideas or things that you remember you need to do. It's because you've allowed space for your brain to think. Same when you have a shower and all that kind of thing. Same when you're journaling. All these moments are meditation. Now, I did say to you, you don't have to sit there and, you know, do the whole and have your legs crossed. Meditation can be in so many different ways. It can be listening to music and just laying there listening to music. It can be laying down in the grass and looking at the sky. It can be reading a book. It can just be sitting in silence. It can be proper meditation where you listen to music. It can be visualization. It can be so many different ways of meditation. And I'm not going to say that one way of meditating is the best way for you, because there's so many different ways. And one thing I wanted to say is meditation is a practice. It's a meditation practice, which means so many people think that they fail because their brain, we're going to backtrack for a second. A lot of the times, basic meditation is about the breath. So focusing on your breath going in and out, in and out. And you focus on that consistently, and a lot of the times your brain will start to think of something else while you're supposed to be focusing on your breath, and you think you failed because you stopped focusing on your breath. See, that's why it's called a practice, because where the practice lies and where you improve every single time is how quick you notice that you go from focusing on your breath to focusing on something else and then bringing it back to your breath. That is the practice. That is the continuous practice that you need to create for yourself. I hope that makes sense. That's a big thing about meditation, only because so many people get, they underestimate it. People think they have to do it for an hour. You can start with 5 minutes. You can start with 1 minute of just in and out breathing, intense breathing. I have an amazing friend that's a wicked breath coach that can teach you a powerful technique to just do in 3 minutes. 3 minutes. If you don't have 3 minutes for yourself every day, you're lying, because you are watching this for one, and you could have been doing something like meditation. You mindlessly scroll on Facebook and all that kind of stuff. So you have the time. Okay, so next one. The second one for me is intention setting / prayer. So I used to be someone that would be kind of against using any kind of word like God or prayer or anything like that, because I actually thought it was highly religious. But I know now that it's just a word that explains something. Like, God is just a symbol of the higher power of whatever we believe that to be. Whether it's, the one that we think that's in a church, or if it's the universe or whatever. If it's just a symbol and a word of what it is. Now, prayer is, in my opinion, prayer to me is an intention that you are setting and putting out there, and you expect and hope for. So, and that's what an intention setting is. If you pray that someone is going to feel better, or that kind of thing, you're putting the intention out there that you're vibrating healing powers towards that person. Now, a lot of people may not agree with this. This is just a way that I perceive it, and take it or leave it. I don't mind. Either use the word prayer or either use the word intention setting. I still use intention setting a lot, so we'll just say that from now on. So intention setting is basically writing down a pen and paper what your intention is for any kind of desired outcome or situation. So I might write an intention. I intend on allowing the universe to flow through me to give me the correct words and wisdom I need to share with you today in this video. That is an intention setting. I intend to show up in a conversation where I'm fully present and understand every word and listen wholeheartedly to the person that's talking to me. That's an intention. I intend to have a good time and get shit-faced at this party. That's an intention. So this is something that you're vibrating and manifesting and going, I am putting the effort and the action and the intention of this is how I am going to work on the desired outcome of what X, Y, and Z situation, which I believe is a spiritual practice, because it's talking and working with the universe, higher, greater, good, God, whatever you believe in. The third one is grounding. This is amazing for people that are empath. So grounding is basically where you take your socks and your shoes off and your feet are completely bare naked on Mother Earth. Now, a lot of people these days and they say it's great to do it on concrete. I don't feel like you get the full effects because it's man-made concrete, whereas if you're on grass, sand, soil, mud, rocks, that kind of thing, like that's Mother Nature. And I take it one step further, especially if you're an empath. If you're feeling a lot in your body, if you're feeling pains, if you're feeling heaviness, if you're feeling negative emotions, I actually stand like into a warrior pose in the ground, full chest up, fully chest up, straight aligned, and I close my eyes and I actually focus on the emotion wherever it's sitting in my body, or the pain or whatever I want to release, and I visualize it being pushed out of my body into Mother Earth, and I say, thank you for taking this for me. Thank you for taking this on for me. I now no longer need this. I release this. Thank you. Thank you for healing me. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you for grounding me. This is something that I can do. You don't have to be so woo-woo about it. You can just go and do it. Like, just get barefoot out in the parks or in your backyard, or you know, whatever, in the sand, take your shoes off, that kind of thing. There's so much science behind basically letting and releasing any kind of energy that you don't need to hold on to anymore. It's just, and it feels so fucking good. You know, it just feels really good. So that's something you can definitely do. You can make it as woo-woo as you want, or you can just be conscious of the fact, like, oh yeah, I know this is good for me. I'm just going to take my shoes off. You know, it's so good. And just have some play, you know, you act like a child again, release your inner child. All right, number 4 is embracing your intuition. So this is so important, and I've already done a video about this before, but I just want to quickly dive into it again. Your intuition is basically your gut feeling and your deep instinct on what to do and how to feel, and your thoughts about someone. So you know, like that feeling when you meet somebody and you have this gut feeling like they're not someone that you should mess around with, you shouldn't be anywhere near them, you shouldn't spend any energetically time on them, you should just walk away from them, that kind of thing. And you give them the benefit of the doubt, but in the long run you realize that your intuition, your gut feeling was correct. That is your intuition at play. That's a very common thing where your intuition lies. So embracing your intuition. If someone tells you to go left and you really want to go right, you go right. And this is things that you can do in so many different areas of your life. You can do it in the way you eat. You can really ask yourself, okay, so am I actually hungry? Do I really need this coffee today? What is it my body's craving? Sometimes you can sit there with your body and be like, oh, actually it really needs water. It doesn't need food. It's actually like craving water. Sometimes you might actually feel like a coffee. I know people that have been hardcore coffee drinkers for many, many years, and one day they're just like, I actually have this intuitive hit that I need to stop coffee. And they stop, and then like there's this huge moment in their brain. Yeah, really getting in touch with your intuition. And to tap into your intuition, I highly recommend meditation, because that is where all your thoughts come up. Number 5 is moving your body, but in specific, yoga. And the reason why I say that is because yoga, I believe, is a mind, body, and soul connection, which is all circulated within you. And you realize so much, and you're more mindful, and you're meditating at the same time as moving your body, and you're strengthening your body in such a different way than lifting weights at the gym. So definitely moving your body is a spiritual practice in me, because I believe in, because you're actually moving the energy through your body. And I personally love yoga. You can do it in whatever way. I just think yoga is extremely amazing, and you know, it doesn't have to be, again, super woo-woo with like all the candles burning and incense shining through and being smudged on your head and all that kind of stuff. It doesn't have to be like that. You can just move your body and do stretches. Stretching is basically yoga. It just hasn't got that spiritual connection to it, but doing stretches is very similar to yoga. Yoga is just more of a flow base, and you're more conscious of the connection to your mind, body, and spirit through yoga than just stretching your legs, as an example. Number 6 is burning sage. Now this is probably one of the most spiritual ones that I've written down, because it is a spiritual practice, like legitimately super woo-woo. People call me the white witch when I pull this and whip it out. But sage to me is something that I just do in the sense of, again, I guess it's an intention setting of just clearing space. And it's just a part of a practice of where mainly I would say that burning sage isn't the outcome that I'm desiring. It's more of like the letting go of whatever it is I want to let go of, and I just use sage. So I guess that kind of like contradicts what I said at the beginning of this video, how everything is within you. So you don't necessarily need to have sage to do this. You can let go of things without having any kind of thing to let go with. But for this, oh my god, I just realized how fucking contradictory this is, but that's fine. I'm owning it. You see, you just gotta own your flaws. Anyway, Burning sage is what I use in the process of letting go of things. I can definitely do it without the sage. I just prefer to do it. So basically what the sage is just I visualize the smoke going across the things that I want to let go of, whether it's the energy in the room, which I physically can't see, and then I visualize the smoke taking away what I want it to take away, whether that's negative energy from the past, if it's beliefs, if it's yeah, it's that kind of vibe. It's more of the things that we cannot see that we want it to release. We can do it on ourselves, like let go of negative emotions, any kind of energy that's attached to us, that kind of thing. People that own businesses, I definitely do this a lot inside my office because I do have people that have challenges coming into the office quite often that I want to use sage so the sage takes away that negative energy rather than just me saying, clear the space, and then just believe that the space is cleared. I use sage to help me believe that the space is cleared. Hope that makes sense. And number 7 is probably by far the hardest one, and a lot of people have a bit of fear around it, and I definitely believe it's a super spiritual practice, and a lot of people are up in arms about it, but you know what, I don't really care. I actually learned it from seeing Siddhartha the musical theatre, and that is detachment. Detaching from anything that is not within us, because when we it's very interesting, and I could do a whole video on it, and I probably might. If you're interested, let me know in the comments if you are. Detachment is something that we can practice, because if we hold attachment to anything from without us, we're more likely to hold on to that thing to create feelings within us. Now, I know that's a bit hard to grasp, because then if you could go deeper and then be like, well, Ree, if that was the case, we shouldn't love anybody. And I'm not saying you don't love anyone. I love so many people in my life. But it's that awareness of detaching, of that you don't physically, emotionally need them to survive. Or anything in general. You don't need things to survive. You don't need anybody to survive. Of course, it's amazing to have that in your life and be grateful for it. But as soon as you let go of the detachment of it, and detach from feeling like you actually need it to survive, it doesn't have so much of a hold on you. And I can't remember the exact words from the Siddhartha where it shifted me. I think I was pregnant. I can't remember for sure, but I'm pretty sure I was pregnant or at the very beginning of my pregnancy. I can't remember exactly, or I don't know, but someone around me was pregnant or I was pregnant when I watched it. I honestly cannot remember, but there was this part within the Siddhartha where it basically said something along the lines of, you need to let go of your children because your children are not your children. You brought them into this world, but you have no control of who they become. And as soon as you realize that they aren't you and they're not actually attached to you and they are their own individual, you can see them from an own human being rather than having a grasp and control over them. If you detach yourself from that, then you will realize there's so much potential for them, because we're raised, like you should do this and you should do that. But if they don't want to do that, they're their own human being. And that's where I had that realization of, oh, that's so important to not be so attached, because the more you held onto attachment for them, you actually, you have like this control that you have no control of, because you cannot control the actions or the reactions or the emotions of any other person except yourself. But when you have that attachment on somebody else, you get so miserable because you didn't get what you wanted, basically. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if it does. I will definitely do another video on detachment with some like facts and stuff about it, and like where you can go to seek more information about it if you're interested in it, because I think it's a very interesting, powerful, and very touchy, sensitive topic. But when you think about it, if you could detach yourself from a cigarette, you would no longer need it in order to have that feeling that you crave when you have that cigarette. Same with shopping, same with food, same with emotions, same with anything. When you have no attachment to it, you no longer desire it / need it, therefore feel incomplete without it. I should have just said that from the beginning. But anyway, so that's my 7. I'll quickly go over them. So I've got them on a piece of paper, so that's what I'm looking down. Meditation, number 1. 2, intention setting / prayer. 3, grounding. 4, embrace my intuition. 5, yoga. 6, burning sage. And 7, detachment. Now I know this was a big video. I will try and drop it down for you, but I hope that's given you some ideas on what you can do spiritually. Please let me know in the comments which one was your favorite. If you do any of them, that would be amazing to hear as well. And if you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up. And if you want more of these videos, please hit the subscribe button, which is down in this corner right here. And I will see you next time. Thank you for being here. Remember to stay true to you.